Welcome back to the second podcast with the usual Andreas and two guests, Emil and Bertil.
Hello there.
Hello.
And today, what are we going to talk about, guys?
We're gonna talk about whatever we feel like, and this is gonna be interesting. We're gonna hear a lot of different opinions because we come from different backgrounds.
You know, we spent a few minutes, of course, before us, talking about what we needed to talk about, and we actually came up with a good starting topic. Isn't that right, Bertil? Yes. What was that topic, Andreas?
So we're gonna start off with talking about the difference between studying in an international class during the IB diploma, like Peter and I were doing, and Emil too. And then we're gonna compare that to Bertil, who is in the standard Danish education.
Yeah.
Yes. But so first off, and Peter wants to introduce, what the difference.
So basically,
This time,
Andreas and Emil study in IB or International Baccalaureate, and it's about
75.
No.
it's about where
What that-
international students study in English, and it's one of the well-known, most hardest programs in the world. Where, in comparison, Bertil studies in HF, STX, my bad, and yeah, the comparison between that is uncomparable, really.
Well, we'll try to compare it at least.
Yeah,
We're
Bertil,
gonna do our best.
do you want
Well,
to?
three of us have been in like normal primary Danish school.
Yeah.
And then the gymnasium type of high school education has been different from three of us.
Yeah. But if we start off by looking at a few topics that differentiate the two. I mean, we have a lot fewer classes, is what I think, right?
We do.
Yeah.
You have like a full week, right?
Yeah, I have like
From 8 to 3?
every day.
From 8 to 3 every day.
And we have like, I don't know, like...
So,
yeah.
at least 3 times a week, we only have 4 classes. And then, in my case, I have 2 full days from 8 to 3.
Yeah. Same.
But
Yeah, same.
how homework do you guys have? And
That's the
That's
Yeah,
right.
that's the
Stuff like that.
difference.
So,
Yeah.
the thing that classifies the IB education, I think, is because, I mean, we have a lot of assignments.
yeah.
Yeah.
We do. We
Yeah.
do have a lot of assignments.
And-
And long assignments too.
A lot of, yeah, exactly. And, a
And
lot
that's
of extra
super
words.
important. That's the difference because in STX, I think you only have one called DHO.
But
that's
that's
like-
only in first year of the education, and then in second year you have an SRP, and then in third year you have an
Yeah, precisely.
SRO.
So
So
you
you
have
have
a lot of
three,
different ones.
So you
Yeah,
have 3.
one each year.
And
And
we have
those-
3 in each subject.
Yeah.
That's the
Oh, every year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we need to pass those because if
Yeah.
we don't pass them,
Then we fail.
then we fail the entire education.
Yeah, but
Uh,
but I mean, we have fewer classes for a reason, right?
It's all about time management.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Which-
another like a cliche, but it is
Yeah.
about time.
But,
time management.
How many?
Andreas, I mean, growing up in sort of, I heard you went to like a sort of like a ghetto school, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen any big difference between going all the way to an international education from a normal one,
So
like a ghetto school?
So from the beginning, I went to a private school where there was only 50 students, and then 8th grade, when I was 15, I moved to a public school because we moved from one city to the different city kind of spontaneously, meaning that I went to the public school, and I feel like that was actually a healthy part of my life because then I got to meet people who were different from myself, and they came from different backgrounds, troubled backgrounds. There was a lot of crime in that area,
Precisely.
and that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely shaped it. And then going into the international school, all of the students, I wouldn't say that we are similar, but at least we have the same kind of goals in life.
And I get what you feel like. I think it's very healthy to experience sort of a new culture and entirely different. Precisely, I myself went to visit a school in Iceland, where I would say that my previous school was very structured. It allows you to get a different perspective of life, and there I feel like I got a more creative. I followed out more creatively. Which sort of benefited me a lot, and I think it's the same thing that sort of happened to Andreas. The thing about experiencing so different cultures is sort of what allows you to grow. And Peter, I mean, you came from Ireland, right?
Yeah, I did.
From Londonderry, right?
From Derry, actually.
Yeah, and what is different about school there compared to here?
Basically, in school there, it's all spoon fed to you. But here it's all about self-management and self-discipline, as Andreas said.
You have freedom.
So yeah, you have freedom here. But in Ireland, you need to do everything yourself, and if you don't do it, then there will be teachers on you. But here, if you don't do it, then the teacher will be like, "Oh yeah, it's your fault if you fail."
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't say now you have to do this, now you have to do that.
Yeah.
But that's
maybe
not only
that's-
about education.
Yeah, but
That's
I
in
think
general.
I think that's the next step of education. You know, being more sort of independent rather
It
than.
prepares you for university, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's
Also,
what I-
just in gymnasium, it's like the teachers don't really care if you care about the class. They just don't care
if you
they're just gonna get mad if you're distracting the other students in the class.
Yeah, if you just,
Yeah, it's a much
you're
more relaxed
Yeah,
approach
if you
here.
sit quietly in the back and watch Netflix, they don't really care about that too much. They just wanna don't get disrespected. But if you speak up every time everything happens, so they just respect all the other students, so they can't really.
So they
So
can't
they
really.
can't really focus. It's just the
Yeah.
teacher will get mad at that, but not like if you just don't care about the class, they won't really get that mad. You're just gonna get like
But-
disappointed in some way.
I mean, you've heard of our experiences in the international school. Do you think what do you think is very different from our education to yours? What would you say is the biggest difference?
Well, it's kind of. I also started in a like ghetto school, if you would call that, with so many people that turned out to become like go into crime and stuff like that. And I have like 3 or 4 kids I went to class with that has been in prison by now. And then I switched to a private school, and already that transition was pretty big. But from what I know from the international line of school that you guys are in, and to the one I got, it's pretty difficult because I only know that from Andreas' point of view, they don't really have many classes, but they have like these big assignments they spend.
Yeah. Each assignment must be like 5 hours long. Like the teacher before they give us the assignment, they set like a low team,
Yeah,
and
we also
that
have
there's
that.
how much time you're meant to spend on each lesson or each assignment, and usually it's like 5 hours long.
Yeah, and
They set for that. I don't know if they just set it for that, but usually it takes around that amount of time.
we also have like those long assignments, but the maximum of hours per assignment we can have a week is 10 hours. So
this is SAP.
when it happens when we have except SAP. But when it happens when we have like, let's say we have a Danish essay to write that's like 5 hours, and we have a math assignment that's 5 hours, we can almost every time ask one of the teachers to like forward it to like, let's say next week or something like that, and they will almost every time say that's no problem, you can just have like another week to do it.
Yeah.
And for the most part, it's just like the teachers are more calm. They just want to get through the stuff that we have to do.
But would you do better in an international? Would you do better in Danish education? Do you think?
It's pretty difficult because I think, okay, I'm pretty lazy.
So am I.
Yeah, and like I think maybe 50% of the time in class, I just sit and do absolutely nothing. Look out the window and do fucking shit all. Or I like listen to music or play games or watch movies or something like that.
And you're not in the HF.
Yeah, and I don't really care about.
But I feel like the main difference between STX and IB is what you do at home.
Yeah.
So basically, like, having been in our class, there's multiple people, possibly including myself, that do nothing during class, contribute nothing, say nothing, answer no questions, but it's what you do at home.
Yeah, exactly, because and that's what I'm curious about, because I don't know if I would do better, because some objects in some classes I would probably read a lot about and study way more than 5 hours to write something about. But if it doesn't interest me at all, I think I would have a really hard time writing something about it.
The thing is, in the international education, I feel like, you're allowed to pick your own subjects.
That's a good
point.
So
That's
you get to choose. So like, we're never gonna have German.
No.
We're never gonna have Spanish.
We don't have PE.
Yeah, we don't.
Like, that's
that's interesting, but to me, but in theory, right? What interests me personally is like economics and global politics. So,
Yeah,
I'm able to
that's stuff you can use for your life.
Exactly. And I don't have to have. What do you guys have? You have
Latin
German
and
for 2 years.
stuff.
You have history.
Oldtidskundskab.
Oh, you have ancient
Greek
art.
ancient history. I can't I fucking hate the teacher and the stuff she says. I can't give.
Remember, this is being viewed
Recorded.
recorded.
So I love. Actually, no, but
It's
actually,
okay. It's not PG.
maybe-
Don't
I think
swear.
it's-
the
I think it's
teacher
more-
is the
yeah.
teacher is actually amazing. She's really good and she's really
Sweet and hot.
enthusiastic. Hvad fuck hedder det?
Engaged.
Engaged in the subject, and she's actually amazing. But what I can't, oh my god, she's talking about some guy 5,000 years ago who said something, and I'm supposed to care about that. I don't care.
That's why
Exactly.
it's good. If you care about that, that's awesome. You can choose that to study, and that's
Yeah, but
perfect.
that's the
But
thing.
if you're not interested,
He's talking about it as if like he doesn't care about it,
Yeah.
and in his whole life, he's almost 100% sure
Yeah.
that it will never come
But
up.
the thing is,
I'm never gonna use that.
the thing-
Why do I have to spend my time learning that? It's so stupid.
The thing about education is very simple, okay? The reason why you learn to analyze a poem is not because you need to analyze a poem in the future. It's not like you're gonna be sitting at work analyzing poem. It's because of the mental sort of things that you gain from analyzing poems,
Yeah.
and the interpretation and the ability.
Yeah, the interpretation and other
And,
stuff.
and
in
you know,
life.
like I'm never gonna use x squared plus x 2x is equal to 0, but it's about problem solving. That's
Yeah, exactly. But like,
this is so much more than education. Even in real life, if you learn about different cultures, if you grow up hanging out with different people, that's gonna prepare you, and that's more than just education. That accounts to just